Okay, so let me know how this, if you can see me now, Nick.
I'm checking real quick.
Dun, dun, dun. It should be live now.
You're definitely live.
Hey, that's good news.
Frame rate's good.
Can you hear me? I know there's a delay.
I am much louder than you are.
Okay.
I'll turn on my microphone.
Well, I'm probably gonna go ahead and just leave
Actually,
the
unless you can
chat.
equalize me on your side.
I'm just gonna leave the chat. I don't want random people to hop in Discord and start asking voice questions. I'd rather stick with the chat.
All right, do you have me muted on, or are you muted on Discord? Because I can't hear you if you're talking on Discord.
Yeah, I was muted on Discord.
All right. Yeah, I am a little bit louder than you.
All right, I'm gonna put it back into standby real quick. Alrighty, here we go. I have the stream on. We'll see if this works. See whether or not we have any serious problems. But anyways, I'm Aaron Hall. Hi. There's a face for the voice if you've only been hanging out in voice chat with me. Um, I've been getting a heck of a lot of requests to show off the forging process. And I've got a few things here that I'm going to use. Show off a couple different methods, a couple different ways to do this. And hopefully I'm going to be able to take some questions in chat and got that on my phone, by the way, because like an idiot, I don't have a second monitor set up at the moment. Okay, there we go. I've got I can see Nick in chat there. And looks like that's about it. Alrighty, let's do this. Okay, so Centraforge. The first thing, if you have not done any forging whatsoever, you'll see that there's 8 slots down here. Ignore my horribly messy inventory. But you've got 8 slots down here. Now, normally you'll only have 6 slots. And the extra 2 slots come from a skill right here down in the Epic 2 category called Forging Epic. That's the one. Gives you your gear a flat 20 flexibility and 2 extra slots. And in my opinion, those 2 slots are completely mandatory. You really can't get away without them. I mean, I suppose if you're doing some really low-end forging, you could skip them. But I mean, if you're gonna make a forging character, I don't see why in the world you would. It's pretty simple, so you might as well pick that up. Am I even in the right spec? I'm super not. That's gonna be important. Alright, there we go. Now we're in the right spec for forging, and let's go over the basics here. Okay, so your basic material, I think it's in the forge already. The thing you always, absolutely, without any question, have to have 100% of the time is setting resin. You literally cannot click the begin forging button. I'll show you that in a second. In fact, here's a diamond hammer. Okay, we have begin forging, high effectiveness, that's this. I'll explain that in a second. If I take the setting resin out, it specifically says add setting resin to ingredients deck. Looks like we need to up our volume a little bit. I bet I can fix that, maybe. If I increase it anymore, it's gonna get some white noise. I'm gonna try. Let's see what happens. Alright. Can you hear me better now? I'm probably gonna have to increase the super low. Well, I'm increasing it. How's it sound now? Lots of super better. What about the white noise? You hearing fuzz in the background? Yes, no, maybe? I know there's a delay. It drives me crazy. Okay. Alright. Well, we're good then. We'll just continue on. Back to the good stuff. Alright, anyways, setting resin is absolutely required. It's also the easiest thing to make. It's ridiculously easy to make. In the extractor, you have... First thing you gotta do is make the resin base. Glass, sap, ancient vital essence. Masscraft 36 of each makes 50 of that resin base. And then if we scroll down here, setting resin, 1 resin base, 1 flint, and that makes 4. So with just 18 of that resin base and 18 flint, you get 100 setting resin. Very, very cheap, super easy. Setting resin is never going to be a problem, but it is always required. Next couple of things you're going to need some kind, the only other absolutely necessary thing is some kind of boon compound. Some kind of boon compound like this one here. Pure boon compound 3. I know this one requires power. So if you're just barely starting out, you may not be using boon compound 3. But in my opinion, forging is not really worth doing until you at least get to the point where you can use pure boon compound 3. That's pretty much the bare minimum that I would consider using. But I know that other people have been using boon compound 2 and getting okay results. I wouldn't. But that's just me. This stuff does use shimmering orbs to craft. I think 18 shimmering orbs, or maybe 36. I think it's only 18, but it does make 100 of the pure boon compound 3, so you get quite a bit. So you need some kind of compound. There's actually a lot of options for compounds. The option for compounds, let's go ahead and take a look at that. You've got your pure boon compound 1, 2, and 3. These will never have any defect points or any issues with that. Okay, they're all pretty easy. These first two don't really use much at all, but the third one does use shimmering orbs, so it gets a little more expensive, and it does require, look at 2,000 power. You have these other kinds of boon compounds. Not very many of them would I recommend using. The imperfect boon compound gives 200 boon points and half as much defect points. So by the time you get to the compound 3, it's 1,000 boon points, but 500 defect points. It's not lovely. The one thing I did forget to mention, the pure boon compound 3 only gives 400 boon points. So that's kind of the downside of using this. And it's not the best thing to use, but it is the entry level in my opinion. 400 boon points is okay. It's all right, but we'll in a second see one that's considerably better. And these imperfect ones, as you can see, when they get to 3, you got 1,000 boon points. But in my experience, those 500 defect points are just not worth taking. In a lot of cases, they're just going to drive you crazy. Okay, unstable boon compound gives a lot less defect points, still 1,000 boon points, but then it gives quirk points. Quirks they're just weird. Sometimes they're like, this tool only gets benefits at night. It has a sticky trigger where it just randomly fires. Again, they're not as bad as defect points, but in my opinion, they're just extremely annoying. And so it's just not worth using. So again, in my opinion, the imperfect boon compound 3 and this unstable boon compound 3 are immediately no good. We're going to skip draining boon because that's the real good one that I'm going to talk about. The corrupted boon gives you a lot of boon points and then a debuff that adds defect points. So again, defect points, we don't want those. Defect reduction removes boon points and defect points. This is for if you're working with defect points, but I just don't see why you would need this stuff. I really think the devs need to overhaul this a little bit because I just don't understand why you would even use it. You know, these things remove some defect points and a little bit of boon points, add quirk points. Again, these are all pretty much worthless. I wouldn't recommend making any of them under any circumstances. And I've tested, you know, using defects. Is that really that bad? And I've tested quirks, and every time I haven't been happy with the results. So, however, once you get to the point where you're ready to do some real big boy forging, the material you're going to use is this draining boon compound 2. So the draining boon compound 2 gives you 1,000 boon points, which is the max. I probably should have mentioned that before. That completely fills up the boon bar that you'll see in a second when we do some live forging. But it applies a debuff for 5 rounds that drains 50 vigor per round. Now the debuff stacks, but only the duration stacks. It doesn't drain an additional 50 every time you stack it up, which is good, because if it did, we wouldn't use this. It would drain vigor way too fast. Since it just increases for a huge amount of duration, it actually works really good in our favor. So what we do is we combo this draining boon compound with, down here is your vigor catalyst. And this allows you to consume buffs and debuffs and restore vigor. So by adding a bunch of that debuff, we consume it, we get the vigor back. That's the way that the very high-end forging is done currently. These other catalysts are okay, but ultimately not that great. I just haven't seen much use for them, and they're very expensive to make. This one uses thermal core trophies, shimmering orbs, and shadow orbs. A mass craft of 100 of them uses 18 of each. It's pretty expensive. Most players are not going to want to dump money on this until they're really ready for the big stuff. So that's why you don't do this until you're ready. Solvents are really good. We're just going to kind of be quick here on this other stuff because you don't really need any of this other stuff. Boon removal solvents, if we're avoiding defects and quirks, okay, then we can avoid all these other things that are related to them. Because they're just not worth messing with. I think the system probably does need to be overhauled slightly, so maybe there's some more interplay with defects and quirks. But right now, we just completely avoid them. And you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. These boon removal solvents, they remove the last boon, give you 50% or 100% of the points back. These can be really useful because you only have 3 boon slots. So if you're looking for something very specific, and you get a boon that really doesn't work, say you're using a diamond tool, which has no base crit chance. The only crit chance you're going to get from this diamond tool is through your agility stat. You have a base 2% and then 2% more per agility stat, and another 2% if you have 5 points in all attributes. So crit damage on a diamond tool is not very helpful. And so you don't want to grab that. You'll use like a boon removal solvent. The best and most expensive material in forging is this boon transmute solvent. Now this, instead of just removing the boon, this one immediately turns it into a different one. And it is only whatever your last one was. And it is extremely helpful. This is how you get the most high-end forge crafting done. This is really the only way to do that, is with this boon transmute solvent. And let me show you the crafting recipe and why it is so expensive. Boom. There you go. For 100 of this, it takes 18 Roadrunner feather trophies. That is all your cost, 100% of your cost right here. These Roadrunner feather trophies are they're the rarest of all the trophies, because you're not going to get them doing meteors, because Roadrunners don't spawn in meteors because they just run away from you. So you have to really specifically hunt them to get these. And they are really good if you do. And some forgers will pay 3,000, 4,000 coins each on these. And so you can understand this Masscraft, if I'm paying 4,000 a piece, that's nearly 80,000 coins that I'm making these boon transmute solvents. It's costing me 80,000 coins just from the feathers alone, pretty much. Plus shimmering orbs, shadow orbs, and the solvent base isn't that big of a deal. But yeah, so this is the most expensive thing. This is probably why, if you've seen people asking for Roadrunner feather trophies, this is what they're using it for. Without any exception, this is what it's for. That's their purpose, basically. And they're going to be expensive if you're selling it for less than 3,000. Hit me up in Discord. I will be buying it from you shortly. All right, so down here you have deconstruction resin. It's kind of the last thing that will... Well, I'll go up and look at pastes in a minute, but I should touch on pastes and gums just briefly. Deconstruction resin is the opposite of setting resin. Instead of finishing the forge, you destroy your forge. I personally haven't ever used this. I could see some value in doing it, but I mean, in my opinion, something is better than nothing, right? This gives you 75% chance of recovering each ingredient that you used in forging. Doesn't give you back 75% of the ingredients. It's a 75% chance per ingredient. It's a distinction. You can sometimes do better than 75. Sometimes you won't get 75. But the thing that you need to notice about this is it sacrifices the gear. Okay, so the tool that you put in, or a stack of tools, however many you put in, they will be completely destroyed. You will get nothing back. If you put in 5 diamond hammers, bye-bye diamond hammers. So even if you kind of failed the craft and you didn't do very good, in my opinion, just set it and forget it. Don't destroy it, because, I mean, who cares about getting a suboptimal forge? It still can sell for something. You don't want to lose your tools. I suppose if you're using low quality tools like iron, maybe titanium, you don't care about destroying them. In that case, I can sort of see that, but if you're going to use the expensive Centraforge ingredients that you want to get back, you're going to be using it on an expensive tool. So it doesn't make sense. You don't want this, you don't want the destruction resin. Alrighty. Okay, just for anybody who has not used the Centraforge ever, Centraforge gums, I do get this question pretty frequently, so I should touch this. These are what helps you specify what type of boon you're going to get. So this one is the ease gum, which helps you get ease boons. Like, for instance, an ease boon would be like energy reduction per swing, which can be really, really handy. Energy reduction per swing is really nice. Another ease boon is a critical hit chance. Critical hit chance is an ease boon. Lightness, action speed is the big thing. Projectile speed for weapons. Well, it's basically projectile speed. The grapple has some specific ones for like reeling speed too. Special gum is the one that everybody's gonna want. Special gum is for AoE. And for generally special things, like weird effects on your sling bows, all the like specialty effects like bleeding, slow debuff, weakness debuff, that comes from special gum. And on sling bows also multiple projectiles that I don't particularly love those, but you can do some amazing damage if you use it right. Effect gum, this is for flat damage. And critical hit damage, not critical hit chance, but critical hit damage. Longevity is for durability, and for bombs it gives AoE. For sling bows and hammers and things like that, it also is for range. Glow gum is exactly what it sounds like. It's for the glow boon. It's the only thing it does. So if you want to make a tool into a torch, for instance, this is actually a really good idea. You can make some chisels. Narcissistic Nick, who also streams and lives in Anvil, just down the way from me, he makes some really great magnet chisels that are really good in the forge, and you use special gum to make them get the magnet trait. And then you could probably put glow gum on them, and then all of a sudden they're a torch and a magnet. Little random thing that you can do. To me, I don't generally use the glow gum really ever. I don't even think I've made any. But if you wanted to make a bunch of magnet torches, basically, that's what you would do. Special gum and glow gum, and just glow has 3 ranks, magnet has 3 ranks. You max them out. There you go. Now these last 2 gums are interesting. Trait reduction gum just makes it so that you have a higher chance of putting trait points into existing boons, quirks, and defects rather than creating a new one. And the expansion one is obviously the opposite. It tends to go into a new one rather than stacking into one. These, I think, are kind of strange. Expansion obviously only works. You can only have 3 of any given defect, quirk, or boon. And so, in a lot of ways, this is just kind of wasted. I mean, I guess if you want to get your 3 boons really fast, but if you're going to be crafting, I don't see what the point is. And then trait reduction, it does sound nice. You start with special gum to get AoE. You don't want magnet, because magnet is, someone made a joke on Discord the other day that he just calls it magnet gum, because you tend to get magnet more often than the actual special traits that you actually want. I can't argue with that. You do tend to. So you might think, oh, well, I'll try and get AoE and then use trait reduction gum so that I don't get magnet. But it doesn't ever seem to work out that way. You just get magnet, and then now your trait reduction gum is working against you because now it's prioritizing magnet and AoE, and it's stupid. You really don't need these. I've used them, but I just find that they don't tend to do what I want them to do anyways. All right. Now let's look at pastes real quick. There's a bunch of them. I'm not going to cover them all because I don't find them all to be that useful. And a lot of them are based on defects and quirks. Defect guard, less defect points. Quirk guard, less quirk points. Pretty self-explanatory. Again, we're just going to ignore them because we're just going to completely ignore quirks and defects entirely because the game really works better that way. The others, protection paste reduces stability loss. This one is okay. There's a better one though, because not everything loses stability, and this only protects stability loss. There's another one that actually gives stability. The boon paste, I used this for a long time. Now I'm not sure that you really should with the nerf that the pure boon compound had. It went down to 600. It went down to 400 boon points from 500. With this boost, that makes it 600, or before it was 750. I liked it when it was 750. It filled most of the bar. But now that it's only 600 when it's boosted, it just doesn't feel as good. And then you just end up wasting vigor and stability keeping this buff up. I don't care for it anymore. Invigoration paste gives you additional vigor. It's okay. This one's all right. But the vigor catalyst is significantly better when you get to the high tier crafting, high tier forging rather. So this one's okay if you're kind of in a mid tier and you want to make stuff just a little bit better. Then you could use this. Stabilization paste is really, really useful. This is the one that I was talking about earlier. This actually adds 50 stability for 5 rounds. So the nice thing about this is if you want to use some gums or solvents that don't use stability, you can use those while this buff is up and actually be netting positive stability. So you can like take a moment, waste a little vigor on some gums, and let this thing boost your stability for a couple rounds, which is pretty nice. Fate paste, this thing is fantastic. It just makes it so that your slider lands more favorably, and you have 3 chances. So if you miss, it'll roll up to 2 more times to try and get a hit. That might not make sense to you right now if you haven't done any forging. My phone's totally going to die, so I'm going to lose the sight of the stream chat pretty soon. Oh well. Where was I? This thing is really, really useful. You'll see when I do an actual test forge in just a second why this is really useful. I'm going to be using it. Fate reversal paste. This thing is actually really fun. I tried using it with that the one that gives 1,000 boon points and 500 defect points because it gives you 5 rounds of the fate buff, which I've already mentioned is really great. But again, the defect points is just not worth it. So even though this sounds really fun and it was sort of fun to use, ultimately it wasn't useful. Gambling pace, I used it for a little while. Honestly, it's not that great. It's a 60% chance to avoid stability reduction. It's just like an inconsistent protection paste. And in my experience, it's only 3 round length. It's terrible. Don't use it. It's no good. All right. So we've gone over all that good stuff. Let's get out of here. Let's do some forging, right? Okay. So when you're going to forge, you see down here, oh, I'm going to need that setting resin. You see down here your effectiveness. And this is based on your gear flexibility, the machine power, and your intelligence, which it says right in here. Okay. And this is a multiplier for your boon points. So if you look at this, it gives 400 boon points, up to 400, sorry, let's look at this again, up to 400 depending on effectiveness. So if my effectiveness was 50, instead of 400, this would give 200. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. If it was 75% effectiveness, this would give 300. So you always want your effectiveness to be 100 if you can help it. If you look at your tool, you can right click it to see flexibility. If you have the Forge Epic, this is going to be 20 higher. That's not taken into account on this tooltip. Okay, it says 35 here. The tooltip doesn't like say plus 20 like some of these other things do with skill effects. But it is working, and you can tell by mousing over this. See, it says depends on gear flexibility 55. And you just saw it's actually 35, but we have that Forge Epic I showed earlier in your skill tree that's giving you plus 20. So we have 100. I have 6,000 Centraforge power. You have, there's no reason for that much. I just have it. And then intelligence is actually a really big factor for your forging. I'll show you. Here, let's just real quick switch out. Okay, so now we've lost. I switched to my other skill set. I have a lot of skill sets. And now I don't. You can see down here, I have efficient crafting. I do not have forging. So I won't be able to forge because I have, there's 8 things in the Centraforge, but I'm only allowed to use 6. And I will lose that 20 flexibility. In this case, I do have vitality for stability, but no power, so my vigor is low. And I don't have intelligence, which is going to be reducing my effectiveness. So if we look again, my effectiveness is now only 55. So gear flexibility now you can see is 35, like the tool is supposed to be. Machine power is 6,000. It does not, even though I have way more than enough machine power, like way beyond what you would ever need, because my intelligence is really low and my gear flexibility is down, and this is only 55 effectiveness. It's really not a good idea to be forging when your effectiveness is this low. So before we actually forge, we are going to switch back. This is my home beacon, so I can switch as often as I like. Alrighty, so let's, before we do, all we have is, this is what we'll do. We'll do a spanner. Somebody wanted me to do a spanner earlier. I'm going to start with the spanner. I've never actually forged a spanner, so that'll make it fun. I'm going to take all these high-end stuff out. Okay? We're not even going to use gums. This is just going to be an example of a most basic crafting. This is your cheap version of crafting, and I actually have over here some Boon Compound 1. Okay, so we're going to put these in here. Boon Compound 1 only gives 100. The reason you want that is, well, you'll see in a second. You know what? It's better for me to show you than to try and explain it. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to make a spanner, and we're just going to use these Boon Compound 3s. And this is actually an okay way to do things. This is okay. This is fairly cheap. Normally, if you want to make some cheap AoE tools, this is a good way to do it. You know, toss a hammer in here and use a couple special gums, get your AoE. That's a good idea. Alrighty, spanner in. I've never even forged a spanner, so we'll just see what the heck we get. Alright, so we just go ahead, and we're not going to use gums because I don't even know what I'm looking for. Actually, durability is probably good, right? So longevity gum. Yeah, what the heck. So we'll go ahead and use it. Longevity gum. Costs 50 vigor. Now, this is annoying. I think it's a bug. You used to, when you moused over them in here or right-clicked them, it would show how much vigor and stability they would take. It no longer is the case. You can't see it. I happen to know everything because I've done it for a really long time. But, yeah, I mean, it's annoying. It's really annoying if you're a new forger. I just, all I can do is apologize. I hope the devs fix that. So we're going to go ahead and we'll use longevity, and we'll go ahead and use special gum. I have no idea. I guess maybe we'll get magnet. Maybe we'll get AoE. An AoE spanner would be pretty cool. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Alright, so pure Boon Compound 3. We're going to get 400 boon points because we have 100% effectiveness. Okay, and let me show you. This is your trait, your boon points, your trait points. It's sometimes called trait points. Well, trait points is technically when they're in here. I don't know why they're sometimes called trait points. It's the same thing. Boon points, trait points. Alright, so 400, 1,000 is the full bar, so we got 40%. And we got a miss. So that means nothing happens, but the boon points stay in here, so this is perfectly okay. Not a problem. If we had that fate buff, which I will show you later, it would have tried to roll again. Oh, we missed again, just barely. Okay, so this is an example. So we know we have 800 boon points, 400 twice. Now there's only room for 200. Okay, so we can use this more expensive boon compound 3, or we could use this boon compound 1 that gives 100 and fill half of what's left in there. Now we have 900. If we miss again, then there we go. All right, so we got magnetic. Like I said, we used magnetic gum, so of course we're gonna get a magnetic boon. It's a special boon. This is the one that picks up monster loot. Now that we have plenty of room, we'll go ahead and use one of these, and we'll just forge this until it is pretty decent. Yay, look, magnet level 2, whatever. This is your poor man's forge right here. Just keep clicking. Just keep going. Use these boon compound 1 or 2. You can use it 2. Doesn't matter. 1 or 2. You don't need both. You don't need to get that particular. So we probably have about 200 points in there. We'll go ahead and use a boon compound 1. All right. There we go. Pretty good roll. Seriously. Yeah. Should have found some wood to knock on before I started doing this. Actually don't know whether or not we're going to be able to get AoE. I think you can, but I guess we'll find out. This looks like it's about... There's no way to actually see the amount as far as I know, but it looks like it's pretty close to 400 in that empty space, so we'll go ahead and just go with it. And watch what's going to happen. See, this maxes out at 3, so if it just gets the tiniest bit more, it'll be done. And we won't have to get it anymore. Hey, looky there. AoE. Low blow. Alright, so anyways, if we dump an entire bar into this magnetic, I'm going to be pretty cross. But it's probably going to happen. Wow. Well, okay. So this is a good example of why you need boon compound 1. This bar is completely full because it used like 1 boon point. A waste of a round. And we'll just use this boon compound 1 because it's super cheap. Low blow is the low level AoE boon. It hits the block you're looking at and the one directly below it. And see what I said was going to happen? This 80% of that bar went in and finished this magnet, which is completely worthless. I guarantee that Nick is laughing at his butt off because he knows how bad that luck was, but of course I was streaming it, so it was going to happen. We got a miss. I haven't had a miss in a while. This is going to really turn out to be a really crappy forge. I guess that's a good example of just making the best with what you got. Hey, we got some durability. That's at least something, right? So we got some extra durability. 600, that's pretty good. This thing's got, I think, 1500 base durability. So, that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and just keep rolling it. Yes, low blow is the poor man's AoE. Just the block below what you're looking at. It gets a little bit better. And we'll see right now. Okay, cross purposes is the rank 3. And this hits the block below, the block directly above, and the block to the left and the right. So it makes a big plus. Big little cross thing. Obviously, you'd rather have the full AoE, but in this case, if that is what we end up with, then I guess we'll just be happy with it. Okay, you can see down here, my vigor is at 500 out of 1800. My stability is at 244 out of 1800. If your vigor gets to 0, nothing happens. You just have to stop because you can't do anything else. You just use a resin, destruction, or setting. If stability gets to 0, everything is lost. So never, ever, ever let stability get to 0. Alright, so we've got, because of that, this uses between 100 and 110 stability every time you do it. So we can safely do it 2 more times. But if we tried to do it another time, it would let us, but it would destroy the tool, so we don't want to do that. Okay, so we did not yet get the rank 4, so now we are really, really hoping that we get a pretty good roll and we get the rank 4. But we've got no guarantees here. Everybody cross your fingers. Miss. Well, that's all she wrote, folks. Set it and forget it. So we got 800 durability. We got a nice little magnet. That might be what this thing is useful for. And the cross purpose is this thing. It hits the block above, below, to the right, and to the left. So let's go ahead and set it. Does its little animation, and ding. Your gear is setting, which takes some time. Progress is shown in the queue, so we go over to the queue, and you see we have to wait 1 hour. Good times. Cross effect adjacent, 6-meter attraction range, 800 durability. That's alright. That was pretty good. Hey, it got durability, it got AoE, it just mostly got magnet. That is what it is. All right, so that's what you do with Pure Boon Compound 3. Everybody who always asks me, and there's been a lot of you, why can't you just use Special Gum and Longevity Gum and make cheap tools? Well, the reason is that's what ends up happening. Whenever I do this, I end up getting a maxed out magnet, decent durability, and the AoE doesn't finish. So that's why I can't make them cheaply. If I want to make the AoE and durability, I've got to use better materials. So let's go ahead and use some good stuff here. You can't use smart stacks down here, by the way. It won't work. See, this has got 280. Oop, no good. Cannot put a collection here. Okay, you gotta put individuals there. Okay, so we'll put that away. We'll grab our good stuff back. Doesn't really matter the order, just however you like it. Okay, we got 9 diamond heavy hammers here. So let's show an example of using a couple at a time. There's 4. Let's do 5. So when you do 5 things at a time, you'll see. Let's just show the easiest thing. Okay, so question: if you were crafting in the forge and you wanted to remove magnet as soon as you saw it, the solvents is what you would use, either a transmute or just a boon solvent. The problem with that is it was the first thing we got. The solvents only remove the last thing you got. So we would have had to remove it right away. Would have almost certainly been in vain because we had 2 empty spots still. We were almost guaranteed to get it back. If magnet was the last thing we got, then maybe, just maybe, we could have got rid of it. And you know what? You'll see that in this. This is your high-end forging example. Let's go ahead and do it now. All right. So you notice that we had 100 draining boon compound. Uh-oh. All of a sudden, 80 of my draining boon compound is gone. What the heck happened? Well, 80 didn't just disappear. I used 5 hammers. So 100 divided by 5 is 20. So whenever you use a stack, it divides this by that much. And every time you use 1, or you perceive to be using 1, you're using 5. If you had odd numbers, they're not lost. They'll still be there. No big deal. Okay, so let's use a couple of longevity gums. This is what I've been doing to make my incredibly ridiculous hammers. I'm not expecting to make one of those on stream. But you never know. Could happen. Alright, 2 longevity gums. We start with, then we get the stabilization paste out. This thing takes 200 vigor and between 100 and 110 stability. Okay, now we're going to use the fate paste. We're never going to get any misses with this because it's always going to fill the bar. But the fate paste also tends to make your bar higher. It's useful. Okay. Alrighty, and now we start rolling. Draining boon compound. going to fill the bar. Let's see what we get. That's what we were looking for. Heavy duty boon 4. And you can see over here, we've got our vigor drain, draining 50 vigor each round, 5 rounds remaining. We're going to eat that later with the vigor catalyst. But for now, we'll just keep on rolling. I'm going to go ahead and stack this durability up as much as we can. We might get something else, but with 2, see, look at that. Okay, so look at this. This is a perfect example of what you don't want, right? So what we got is critical hit damage. And I made this example earlier, so of course I would get this. Critical hit damage is really bad on diamond tools. They're not crit tools. So you don't want critical hit damage. So what we're going to do is use this extremely expensive boon transmute solvent to turn this into something else. Is it a great idea? No, probably not. But I guess we will. So okay, here's the thing. I could gamble right now. I could use another vigor. I mean, I could use another draining boon compound, then vigor catalyst, and then use the solvent later. But if I get something else with this draining boon compound, then I'm in serious trouble. But I think for the sake of the stream, we will go ahead and gamble. All right, everybody, cross your fingers, see what happens. All right, so we got some durability. That's good. So now what we can do, see, we have 1 round of stability. We can go ahead and use our catalyst. What this is going to do is eat all of these. So we'll lose this, this, and this. But this, we will get that 50 stability. The catalyst will use vigor, but it doesn't use stability. So we'll actually gain 50 stability on this round. We'll gain a bunch of vigor because of how many stacks this vigor drain has. We'll also lose the longevity trait chance, which is fine in this case because now we want to switch gears and try and get AoE. So let's go ahead and do this. So we see 50 stability positive. We're at 750 vigor. It's going to pretty close to fill back up. Get something like 850. There you go. Yeah, 850. Boom, vigor is back to 1600. Awesome. So now, the reason we didn't want to do that is because the boon transmute solvent would have cost extra vigor to use it while the other buffs were, well, the debuff from the draining boon compound was up. Better to do it now. So we have an option here. We can go ahead and try and transmute now and hope for the best. It's just going to be something random. Or we could put on the special gum and probably change it into AoE. I think we're going to go ahead and put something random. If we had gotten crit chance with that last roll, it would have been okay. So see, we rolled this, turned it into AoE. That's alright. I have no problems with that. So we'll go ahead and, now that we have AoE, we can go ahead and just start rolling. We don't need to use the gum, the special gum, because we don't want to try and get magnet. We want to get something else, like damage or action speed or energy reduction. So we'll go ahead and just set up our stabilization and fate pastes and start compounding away. We want to get this to rank 4, but not 5. So that's one of the things about this. If you get to 4 and close to 5, you have to stop. Because if you get 5, you're basically ruined. Okay, so we got Energy Saver. Energy Saver is pretty good. Diamond tools use, like, I think 38 energy per swing. So reducing this is pretty handy. We will probably try and instead use our transmute solvent to get something better than that. But right now, we're not going to worry about it, because this is always going to transmute the last boon. So we're safe to go ahead and do anything else. If you hit rank 5 on AoE, it changes into random hit, which does full damage. Sounds really nice, but it no longer targets a circle. It just randomly hits random things. It can be okay, but for general mining, it's terrible. You definitely don't want it. It's a big pain in the butt. Alright, we'll go ahead and do this one more time. Once our stabilization falls off, we will catalyze. Ooh, full roll. Very nice. Okay, now this is up to 6. Still haven't got any more special boons, which is fine. I mean, we can always roll more. Put some gum on it at the end if we need to. Special gum. Focus it in there. No big deal. Actually, that's really ideal if we could max out this one and this one first. Get this at the very end. Then we don't have to worry about over-capping this one. Alright, back up to 1300 vigor and still 1163 stability. We can do this for days. Okay, now seems to be a decent time to go ahead and use our boon transmute, change this into something else. Let's see what we get. Magnet. Of course we got magnet. Get out of here, magnet. It will never give you the same thing. Crit hit damage. Yay, get out of here, crit hit damage. Back to magnet. It will never give you the same thing that you already have. No, I didn't want to mislead you and think that we were not going to get magnet again. At least we're not going to get magnet this time. Damage. Okay, so this is our perfect scenario here. So we'll go ahead and vigor is going to be pretty low here, but we're just going to have to do our best. Stability. Do we go with Fate Paste this time around? I think we're going to skip Fate Paste to get as many boon compounds off as we can. We're trying to get as high devastating damage and durability as we can. See, without Fate Paste we get worse rolls. This is what it is, but we'll get more vigor in the end because of this. Ugh. Yeah, this was a bad gamble. Hopefully we can get at least one good roll. Come on. Really not very good. So that one didn't turn out terribly well. I'll go ahead and eat these buffs because we were out of vigor. If we had used another compound, we'd be done, which would have been very bad. There we go. Now we've got some vigor. Okay. At some point, you have to stop using your stability paste. It uses 200 vigor. It really costs you quite a bit. This is the point where I'm going to go ahead and call the stability okay. And we're just going to have to try and hope for the best here. We're going to use one more catalyst, and then we'll finish the tool. Let's see what we can do. Okay, we got our AoE to 3. It's okay. Not really what we want. We really want damage or durability, but eventually we do want this to get to 4, so... Ugh, even with Fate, you're not always guaranteed a good roll. It's a bummer. Durability up to 9, that's nice. Now we have to catalyze, because if we used a paste, if we used a compound, sorry. Alright, so this is where we probably go ahead and say the tool is as good as this one's gonna get, which is pretty good. This is gonna be a pretty great tool. Yeah, because our vigor is just getting low enough that we've only got 500 stability. We can only roll this a max of 5 more times. We could gamble. Alright, we're gonna gamble. This is gonna be, you can watch this later. I know if you missed the beginning, it's gonna be archived, I think, for 2 weeks by default. So you can go back and watch the VOD. Alright. We're gambling now, because we've only got so much stability. Okay, we got our durability to 10. That's good news. Man. Nervous, nervous. We do need one more good roll on the AoE. We only got 2 more tries. That's... Yeah, if we use the gum now, we're wasting a lot. I could go ahead and catalyze now. Yeah, let's do that. I think let's make a smart choice. How much would that use? 100? No, I don't think we need to. We don't need to catalyze. We'll go ahead and just use 2 special gums. Use 2 special gums, and then we will... See, it's using 100 vigor because of our drain. With these 2 special chances, we are very likely to get what we want with these last 2 rolls that we have. So we're only going to have 100 vigor, but that debuff is draining 50 extra vigor, but we do have enough to start it, so it will let us use the last one no matter what. Okay, so we got 4. We could go ahead and catalyze to give us a better chance of more devastating damage, but I don't really think there's much of a point. I don't think we're going to get much. I think we go ahead and call this tool finished. It's still going to have plus 2000 durability and quite a bit of damage, and we've got it right where we want it. The next roll of our compound, which will be our last because of our stability, the next roll will almost certainly, because of the gums we used, almost certainly just fill this bar to about the midpoint, and then we will be done anyways. So why waste the compound? Alright, so now we see, we can go to the queue. You can right click to see the stats. So almost, with the damage that we gained, we almost completely negated the penalty. On a T5 world, this definitely one-shot all the blocks, all the rocks, probably not the ores, without the need for any kind of brew. But I don't think it will have enough to do that on a T6 world. So, you know, it's pretty good. With if you use a strength brew, I'm sure that this is plenty to get you to 2-shot on a T6. I mean, single hit on a T6, and it has 4,000 durability. Add some persisting pies and the durability epic to that. That is a very nice hammer. Alrighty, so let's do some gold fists. Where's my draining boom come from? Do I have any more of that? Be sad if I don't. Oh, good. I got a ton. Okay. Do I have any more fate paste? Yes. Good. Go ahead and cool. Alright. We've only got 16 setting resin. Looks like, yeah, that's all we got. So we've only got a maximum of 16 total items that we can do. But that's okay. I think that's going to be plenty. We'll go just max that out. Okay, so we've got 2 golden fists here. We could do 2 separate ones. We don't want special with the golden fist. We probably do want longevity. Go ahead and put the special away. Effect gum. My chat is dead, by the way. So any questions asked in the last like couple minutes I probably missed. We'll go ahead and look. Oh gosh, chompers. Get out of here. You punk. Okay, anyway. Damage, train, AoE. Yeah, I don't put AoE on the Gold Fist. Yeah, do that, chompers. If they're good questions. If they're good questions. If anybody like you says something like, I won't repeat, then you don't need to repeat that for me. Thanks. Thanks, though. I appreciate it. Love you, buddy. Alright, let's do these gold fists separately so we can just get some different... Yeah, the damage drain with AoE on gold fists is no good. You don't want to get AoE on gold fist. It just affects the AoE on gold fist just affects the blocks that it hits when the fist shoots out, because it does destroy blocks. It doesn't give you like an AoE splash on monsters. Okay, so if you're shooting a Cuddle Trunk that has a Cuddle Trunk next to it, it's not going to splash like that because it's not a damage splash. It's a block hit splash. Totally works separately. So yeah, you don't want AoE on a gold fist. Okay, so we're going to go for effect and longevity on this fist. And yeah, we'll just do one at a time. That way we have more things. We'll probably just let you guys request a thing or two to forge. Let's do a fist. Okay, so we've got all of our goodies here. We'll go ahead and start with effect this time. What we want with a gold fist, its base crit chance is 50. This is a crit weapon. Critical effect damage 75%, which is a full-on multiplier, not additive. So it's very powerful. We're going to go ahead and use 2 effect gums. Effect is going to give us, in this case, flat damage, as well as critical damage. Both of those are fantastic on the gold fist, so we definitely want to get double effect. Okay, get this started. And then whether or not, we'll probably put longevity at the end and get either durability or range. Either way, they're both good. We probably won't need to transmute unless we get something terrible, like glow. Would be my luck. I said it now, we're gonna get it. Incoming glow. In before glow trait. Hey, devastating damage. Flat damage and percentage damage. Yeah, it's fantastic. That's what we want. More damage. We actually do want to get the crit damage started. Would be ideal. There we go. Let's see, the one we were desperately avoiding on the hammer, we really want critical hit damage. So now these are our most important two, and we have them, so now we're in a good place. The last one, some people like range, some people prefer durability. Okay, and we will go ahead and catalyst this off. We could have went ahead and continued. We would have lost a little extra stability. I think we're pretty good where we are. Most of our vigor back. We'll go ahead and toss longevity on there. And we do want a longevity boon, either durability or range. Either one of those is longevity. I don't care which one we get, but we want one of them, so we will put 2. Okay. Paste down. Here we go. I definitely will have some hammers to give out after the stream is over. Probably should have started the hammer so that queue. Oh well. Wow, really? You gotta do this right now? Come on. It's garbage. Get out of here with your garbage. Garbage. Thank you. This game. Now it will go to durability. If we could get this fist to be a 10-10-10, that would be sweet. It would be really sweet. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we sure as heck can try. We did waste a little stability there. Can't be helped. And Fate, do your job. Giving us middle of the road crappy rolls. Alright. Almost did a pretty big goof. Couldn't get our vigor back. Something like 850, yeah. Signal laser paste. More flat damage, that's always nice. Critical effect damage, critical hit damage is not getting any points. Come on, fill it up. There we go. Okay, so with 350 left, this takes 200. This will take 150. We'll be fine. All right. Ah, come on. Killing me. Catalyze. Hello. Oh no, it's not activating. It used to work. No. Apparently it won't work. I swear I've done this exact thing before. Nope. I guess I was wrong. Well, oh well. I guess we're done. That's okay, this is a pretty good fist. Ooh, maxed out durability. Cannot complain about that. We'll go ahead and pause the stream for a minute when this is finished. There we go. I'll be back in just a minute. Alrighty, we're back. Just a temporary thing. The wife wants me to feed her some food or something crazy like that. So I probably will go ahead and do that. I sure as heck do like me a hamburger. But anyways, before I go and do anything else, I would like to take some questions and maybe even a request if there's a specific thing somebody wants me to make. All right, so where are we at? Anybody got any requests? I AFK'd for a short amount of time. Everybody expected me to be gone longer. Topaz single target swift shovel. Interesting choice. Sing Canadian national anthem. Awesome. If I knew what that was, then maybe. I do actually have a decent shovel for that, a titanium one. Crazy damage, crit effect, and durability. Very good single target. So we could do a shovel. I don't have a I do actually have 5 diamond shovels that are unforged. We got 5 more hammers. We could go for another hammer. We can do axes. Those are the things that I have right now. I have another fist. We could do another fist. Let's see what we got over here. More hammers, so it's not helpful. I'm sure I've got some sling bows. We could show the bomb forging process. Not that anybody really cares about that. Okay. Grapple. See, grapples, I like grapple. I think grapple makes a lot of sense. Grapple's pretty different from what we've forged so far. Let's go for a grapple. Let's do some titanium grapples. Gotta go get some. I got some titanium grapples in my shop over here. There we go. Okay, and we'll have to take a look at what we have as to whether or not we want to use this at a cheap, make this a cheap one or a expensive. So if I want to make these grapples cheap for other players, what I would do is go ahead and just stack them to 9 and not use the expensive stuff. Okay, so if I don't use the expensive stuff and I just use these things, then, you know, the tool is not going to be as good as it possibly could be. But since I didn't spend that much on it, I can go ahead and sell it to other players and not have to charge as much. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use lightness and longevity and forge these 9 grapples. I probably have time for another tool after this too. Okay, so we're just gonna, in this case, since we're not gonna be catalyzing or anything like that, we're just gonna use 1 of each. 1 longevity, 1 lightness. Longevity, hopefully for some range, or durability. Both are good. And then lightness for real speed and projectile speed. Ooh, a phone charger. My hero. Sorry guys. You don't get to see the misses today. Maybe next time. We got longevity. That's okay. I've had a couple people request some durability grapples in the past. And I know we could have went with the cheaper one, but yeah. Okay. This is projectile speed. So this isn't reeling speed. This actually makes the fist itself, when you're shooting it out, get to its destination faster. This is actually really nice if you're doing some, you know, crazy parkour. You really want that projectile to hit quickly so that you can get yourself pulled before you face plant into the wall and die, like Nick is prone to do with my hookshot grapples. Because you can definitely kill yourself with a grapple. Hey, we got some durability. So this one, if we could get range, that would be my favorite. That would be the perfect one, but we might get real speed instead. Real speed's okay. I think I'd rather have range in this case, but we'll find out. Got a little more projectile speed, that's nice. No good. And you don't have to hit specific thresholds because you're not using AoE, for example. It makes forging a lot more casual. Yeah, see, this is, we're probably got like 300, maybe 250. We're just gonna go ahead and use the Boon Compound 3. If the bar is maxed out, then you know you can't miss. Oh, what do we get? Oh, far reaching. Okay, we got grapple length. That's good. That's what we want. If we can just kind of get a pretty even split between these 3 boons, get them all to at least... if we keep rolling crappy like that, we're not going to get anything. Come on, let's get this to at least 5. Would be nice. Oh man, look at these terrible rolls. Oh, right. Need some fate paste. Guess I should have brought some. Oh man, whew. That is just awful. You'll see these Boon Compound 1 only use stability, don't use any vigor. Which in our case is not helpful. It can be, but in this case, it's super not. It's probably not gonna... it's gonna be close to max. Yeah, it's max. Come on. Man, can we get a little bit more range, please? At least one more good roll. Freaking kill me. We've got only one more because of our stability. Hey, we got range to 5. Whoever was crossing your fingers for that one, thank you very much. You get a discount. Ah, figures. Our very last one, and we miss. Where was that roll? Where were you this whole time? Alright, but we ended up with a pretty good tool. We got 1,000 extra durability on this scrapple. 35 meters a second faster projectile speed. That's pretty awesome. And an extra 15 meter length. This makes it basically, this is better than a gem grapple by leaps and bounds, really. So this is a pretty awesome grapple. let's go ahead and if we click that button, bad news. Down to 6th setting rather. Okay. So if we look at our queue here, max range is now 35, and durability is 2,000 from 1,000. And where is it? Projectile speed was 40 meters a second, now 75 meters a second. This thing's only going to take 40 minutes because it didn't have a huge amount of boom points in it. Okay, we've got 6 setting resin. Let's use it. We could do like a 5-in-1. We can do hammers again. Maybe hope for the big boy hammer. We could do another fist. We can do Wayfarer's totem. Those are really big hassle. I'll show you why. This is my proper spec, and still with all this machine power and all this intelligence, effectiveness is only 52. Bummer. I have a bad feeling that Blink, Rift, and Dark Matter tools and weapons are going to be like this. Really bad forge efficiency, which would be a shame because not many people will be able to use them. Oh, Nick. Wow, I hate you. It's not Nick, actually. Well done. Very well played. I assumed that would be Nick. Looking at chat for a moment. The Boon 3, the Pure Boon Compound 3 makes a huge difference compared to Compound 2. Oh yes, it does. Yeah, hookshot auto reels. Just making sure that I'm not missing anything here. Do we want to do a Wayfarer's Totem? Let's do one. Let's just do it. We've got 6 left, so we'll do a Wayfarer's Totem, and then we'll try 5 more hammers. What the heck? Alright, so for all of the above, we're gonna use the good stuff. I know these are totally out of order, and it's bothering me too. Okay. Maybe I'm the only OCD person, but I'm doing it. Okay, what do we want on this Wayfarer's Totem? That is a great question. AoE is really hard to get with this low effectiveness. We're not even going to try. But we'll probably just go with the general damage and durability. Does it have much crit chance? No. So, it's kind of a hassle. We could go with speed. Let's do that. We'll go with lightness and longevity instead. Since we're using our good stuff, we'll go ahead and just go double longevity. What are you doing, Bender? Okay, 2 longevity, stabilization paste. See, with only 52% effectiveness, you're gonna see what that does in just a second. And we'll get a good example of how the fate paste works. This should work out nice. Okay, so now, this normally gives 1,000, right? Up to 1,000. You'll see we're only going to get, when it pops up over here, it'll say plus 520. Oh, okay, it's you see here, you see plus 1,000 minus 480 and then 520 here. I guess we're gonna have to wait 1 more or 2 more rounds before we actually see that fate buff in action. But you'll see when I miss, it will it'll re-roll up to 2 extra times. Woohoo, durability. Can't complain about that. Somebody's put himself on the camera. Look, Mom, on TV. We got 1,000 extra durability. I think the thing's got 1,500. Yeah, so we're getting not quite double. We got 2/3 more durability. Go ahead and roll this one more time. I did all that talking about the fate buff. We're not gonna miss at all, are we? Come on, miss. Nope. Wow, magnet. Well, this is kind of an okay tool for magnet. It really is. If you're dual wielding, say you've got your AoE tool in one hand and this tool in the other, and you'd like to have a little magnet action, that's fine. That's all right. We'll go ahead and leave it. We got to catalyze before we do anything else. Next time we'll go ahead and put lightness on for action speed. How much energy use? 20. Maybe we should have went with ease. Ease would have been okay too. But we'll do lightness. We'll just do 1 and let fate decide. Okay. Compound time. Call it. Let's see who calls it. Action speed. Izzy B. Boone is action speed. This should be a pretty good. This totem should be a pretty good companion to your strong AoE miner like we made earlier. Pretty good little companion tool. Someday we're gonna miss, by the way. Someday we will. I don't know if it's gonna be today. What the heck? Nope, not yet. Hey, 1400. One more level of durability and we've more than doubled it. Made me think we were gonna miss. Well played, little stick. Well played. Got up to 25 extra action speed. That's nice. There we go. It's a miss. And see, it rolls again. Hey. One time on this stream I did finally get to show you that I'm not crazy. Okay, we're going to catalyze this one more time. And I think we're going to be done more or less with this tool. I don't think we need to keep catalyzing it over and over again. Because we're not going to get anything crazy. We're not working on any specific thresholds. So we're just going to let this thing run its course. I will go ahead and, but it's a nice round 95. Ooh, nope, can't do it. Gotta do it right. If this was at 100% effectiveness, maybe we just let it ride. All right. Now we're just riding to the end, hoping for some good stuff. Bender looking for bitter beans. I got like 6,000 of them, but I'm streaming, buddy. Maybe later. Can't believe you haven't hit Magnet again. It's craziness. Magnet 1 is pretty mediocre. We're up to plus 40 action speed, that's pretty cool. This thing's gonna be a little bullet. Pop, 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 pop. Totem bullets. We're not gonna put fade up for the last of it. It's just a waste of stability. Hey, Magnet 2. Watch, everything else is gonna... We're gonna start missing a bunch. Yeah, just wait for it. Now that I let Fate fall off. This is a miss for sure. Told you so. Alright. So okay, so here's the example of 100 vigor. So it's gonna use an extra 50. Will it let me? Because it didn't let me catalyze. Will it let me use the draining boon compound? No. Huh, okay. Well, I guess maybe they've hotfixed it since then, because I swear I've done that exact thing before. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Alright, so we got 1400 durability, 4 more meters of magnet, and 45 extra action speed. That should make this thing be a little zippy sucker. Decent little mining companion. You know, we got 5 setting resin left. Alrighty. Well, we're down to our last dollar here. Only 5 setting resin left. I'm gonna do a little set of 5 hammers, I think, unless anybody has any objections. The totem that I was doing was a Wayfarer's totem that was a founder. It's a founder reward. Actually, the Wayfarer tier and above, I think that's like $150 or maybe 200. I don't know. I wasn't in it. I purchased these from somebody, actually, one of our guild mates, and it's pretty awesome. Okay, diamond sling. A couple people want a diamond sling. Anybody else? I don't have one, so somebody's gonna have to bring me one. I have one in queue. There, we got 4 hours. 4 hours on the diamond sling buddies. I think that's not gonna happen. I'm with you on the diamond sling. I'm gonna make one later, but I don't have one right now. Unless anybody's got one to volunteer. I'll give you about 30 seconds because of the delay. Only 4th. No, it's actually 2nd. See, 1, 2. I'm just making 2 sets. You know, 4 hours. It's 4 hours. No big deal. 4 hours. Oh, you see, I'm just retarded. Yeah, 4 hours we can wait. I'll stream it again. I'll do this again if people want me to. I don't know. Maybe it's super annoying and you don't even want to watch it again. I don't know. That's on you. Are there any other Forge questions? Any sling? I mean, yeah. What the heck? Let's do a. I do have a titanium one. We haven't done a titanium sling. I'm gonna call this the last one though. Screw this. This is missing some durability. And I wanted to do a 5 stack, right? We got 5 setting resin left. Let's use a 5 stack. Hey, welcome to Amble. Don't you just love this tree? I love this freaking tree. The Cuddle Punks made this marketplace. So credit to Amanda, Pan, Kal-El, and their crew. Okay, I got a couple of these. No big deal. Five titanium sling bows. Titanium sling bows are pretty good. They actually have pretty nice crit. They're pretty nice. I've made some really good ones, like really good. See, they've got 20% crit chance, 30% crit effect, and I mean, in a lot of cases, they're barely below gem. They're quite good. Okay, so what do we want? We don't want longevity with this. Well, if we want range, listen to some requests. What kind of boons do we want on these slings? Somebody mentioned range before. So, do we want to try and get range on this thing? Range and just damage, probably? Which would be effect. Where to put that? Oh, it's in my inventory already. Nice. Longevity and effect. The longevity could give us range or durability. Which we could probably go range and durability and then look for flat damage. Might be halfway decent, like charging sniper. Range damage and durability, a couple of people. Chomper, AoE damage, crit damage. The AoE with the... I don't like AoE on the singbows that much. Some people like it. I don't like it that much. I don't think it's that good. Alright, we're gonna go with this. We're gonna go for durability and range. And then flat damage. Flat damage would be a little better than crit damage on this. In this particular case, I think. And we use the transmute to make sure we get that. Okay, here we go. 2 gums, stabilization, followed by fate. Use a couple of draining boon compounds. Away we go. Woohoo for 100 effectiveness. Always a big fan of that crap. Alright, here we go. Fingers crossed for good stuff. Range first, go. Yeah, range first. Alright. We're making a sniper rifle. Sniper bow. Whatever, get out of here. Nice. Well, I think it was Zen that wanted, was it Zen that said, range, damage, and durability? Looks like your wish is coming true. Okay. Alright, we'll go ahead and hit this probably 2 more times, just get a little more of these 2. And then we'll go for our effect. Since we got these 2 first, if we got a 3rd one that we didn't want, like that one, somebody was asking about AoE on Singbow, and here's your answer. You do considerably less damage, but you fire multiple shots. The reason, it sounds cool, the reason this isn't good, it's not like multiple shots like consecutively, like see, this is 3 shots. It's not like say like a battle rifle from Halo or whatever. These shooters, I suck at shooters. I don't do shooters. But you know, that goes 3 shots, all pretty accurate. This will spread out the 3 shots. It goes all the way up to 6, maybe higher. I'm not sure. And They stay fairly tightly clustered, but unless you're really close to the enemy, chances are some of the projectiles aren't going to hit. And if some of the projectiles aren't hitting, then you're just losing damage. So, I mean, you could definitely make a shotgun, and if multiple projectiles hit the same enemy, they definitely add the damage. So theoretically, you could make one heck of a shotgun. But considering we're making a ranged weapon, this is terrible on extra range. Absolutely terrible. But because we have our transmute solvent, it's not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. We just transmute it here in a minute. Yeah, when you got long, if you're trying to shoot long range, you're just gonna miss. You're absolutely going to miss, so that's not helpful in the slightest. Okay, go ahead and catalyze. Yeah, we'll catalyze. I could go either way on using that last fate. We'll get an extra 50 vigor by consuming it, so it's not completely a loss. Now, what we're gonna do is here. We'll do something interesting here. So we're gonna do stabilization first. I'm gonna show you something that I mentioned earlier. Then we're gonna affect gum twice, and you'll see affect gum uses only 50 vigor, no stability. So each of these times we're gonna lose 50 vigor. We're gonna gain 50 stability. See, minus 50 plus 50. Gonna do it twice. Minus 50 plus 50. Then we're going to use our transmute so that we can transmute it into an effect. And this also this uses 100 vigor, no stability. So we're going to gain 50 stability. Lose 100 vigor. Hopefully we get flat damage on the first try. Yes, we did. Devastating damage. Awesome. Pull it off. Fate paste. And then we'll roll a couple, I could have actually probably stabilized first, but it's okay. So now we got all the boons that we wanted. Stabilization's gonna fall off. We'll do this maybe, I don't know. We're losing 100 stability every time since we don't have the stabilization paste. I think we've got a little stability to lose here, so we'll go ahead and just keep going for it. Come on, Fate, do your job. Damn. Okay, we're gonna do one more. And then we'll eat it. There we go. Good boy, Fate. Good boy. Alright. Bigger catalyst. Get our stability back. We should get quite a bit this time. 950. Nice. Stabilization paste. And now we're just looking to get as much as we can out of this. Alright. No more gums needed. No more transmutes. Just boon power. More durability. Can't complain, make this thing last a little longer. Though considering we're making it a sniper, less shots, more heavy damage. Durability is probably not the most important thing. Probably could have went for instead a heavy range with damage and crit damage. If you really wanted to minimize the amount of shots, but this will last longer, so it's a trade-off. I personally don't love the charging epic. I think it's underpowered. It's my opinion. I've written on the forums about it if you want to find my stance. It's good for what it's good for. I just find it to be limited use. Probably good for hunting roadrunners, though. The long-range fist is probably a little easier, though. Okay, so now I don't want to waste stability at this point. So now that our stabilizer buff has fallen off, go for bigger. With this stability, looks like we're gonna have about 8 or 9 more uses. 8 or 9 more total things. I don't know. Maybe 5 more compounds. Guess we'll find out. Ooh, good roll. Nice damage. A little bit more, and we can max it out. I'll note for anybody who just is curious, the devastating damage for every rank, it is 50 flat damage. So you can see this has 450 flat damage. It's rank 9. 9 times 50, 450. The percentage damage increases at every odd number. So 1 and 2 have a 10%. 3 goes to 20%. 4 is still 20. At 5 it gets 30. At 7 it gets 40. And at 9 it maxes out at 50. So if we get this to 10, the flat amount will go up to 500, but the percentage is going to stay the same. And if we get to 10, you will see. Hey, look at there, there's 10. See, 50% and damage extra flat 500. Pretty nice. Alrighty. We're gonna be down to the wire with this. I'd like a little more range. She's not gonna forget nothing about it. So this round we're gonna net plus 50 stability. Okay, so now stability is real low. Let's think about what we want to do. I think we still go ahead and stabilize. I think we're good. This is probably going to be the end of it. But I think we're about to be done here. Not gonna have enough stability to do anything. We're running out of compound anyways. Couple more uses. 3 more after this one. That will be it. Hopefully we get at least 1 more good hit of range. It's already 15 meters, which is okay, but it'd be pretty cool if we could break 20. Ooh, good hit. Ooh, yeah. 21. Nice. Do that again. That's my vote. Do that again. This is the second to last compound. Ooh, didn't quite fill it. So in order for that not to be in vain, we gotta get it 3 times in a row. Hey, it could happen. It could happen. Extreme luck. Let's see it. No more vigor. No more stability. I have some meat for sale in my store. Is it luck? Nice. 3 times in a row. 24-meter increased range. Beautiful. That's a pretty sweet. That is a pretty sweet sling bow. We'll review its stats here in a second. That's gonna be a nice sling bow. We made 5 of them. I got like 12,000 uncooked meat if for some reason you need that too. Okay, let's go ahead and just build this up. I gotta craft some more paste here. Hey, there's Spanner. Anyway, 15 minutes for more hammers, everybody. Right, we're gonna look at that sling bow. Boom. So it has more forged damage than its base damage. Don't even look at the skill effect numbers here. These numbers. Don't even look at that because this character that I'm forging with is not that great of a damage. I don't have any of the sling bow epics. Don't look at that. Just look at the forged damage. Okay, the forged damage. The forged damage is 875. That's higher than the 750 that it had by base. That's pretty amazing. 1600 durability. It started with 1200, so we more than doubled its durability. Its range was 20. We increased it to 24. It does still have a decent projectile weight. It's not a heavy, it's a balanced sling bow, so it's not a huge arc, but it's still a decent one. But with 44 meters range, it's going to be interesting. I definitely think you're going to be able to do pretty great things as far as killing roadrunners. Yeah, if that's what this is, that's pretty much what this thing is good for. This is a roadrunner killer. Maybe some, I mean, really high tier cuddles and things like that. You gotta have like heavy crit damage to get through their crazy high armor. But this is pretty nice. This is going to be a pretty nice thing. I made 5 of them, so they'll be available in a couple hours. So yeah. Alrighty. If there's any other questions, please feel free to pin me on Discord. Hit me up, see what I can do. If there's any requests for me to forge something different in the next stream, I'd be glad to help. If you have any questions, need any advice, hopefully some of this will help you get to do your own forging. Because honestly, forging is not that hard. Okay, we can, everybody can do it once you get set up. Once you get set up, anybody can do it. And I know maybe I lose a little bit of my own business by helping everybody else learn to forge, but hey, it's a lot of fun, and I'd rather everybody have a lot of fun than just myself make more money. So anyways, if you have anything else, I guess I should take a look at chat, huh? You are very welcome, Mama. Please feel free to ask any more questions. You already have my Discord, so I know that you can find me. You know where I am. Any other questions? You're very welcome, Chompers. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call it. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful morning, evening, night, whatever time it is for you. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.